What's going on, y'all? This is OJ back here with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the prospects right now that you know are good, but you're not exactly sure how good they are. All right. You watch them fight, and regardless of the competition, you know you're seeing someone who's very skilled, but you don't know whether or not they can implement those games at a higher level. Certain areas in their game which they haven't been fully tested yet. Like, you're not exactly sure, but you know you're seeing someone who can potentially make a statement in whatever division they're in. I'm gonna go over one fighter from every weight class, starting from flyweight, ending with heavyweight. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so for the flyweight division, we got Andre Lima. Now, Andre Lima, he's a very complete fighter, right? He's shown us great striking. He's able to pick his shots. He can get takedowns when he needs to. His jujitsu is great for someone who's primarily known for just their kickboxing. But the problem is, he hasn't really fought anyone with a notable name. His best win, in my opinion, is against Felipe dos Santos. And he didn't put away Felipe dos Santos, and nothing really stands out as a weakness, though. So I'm questioning whether or not Andre Lima is just crushing cans or if he's actually elite level competition. Now, off the eye test, nothing really stands out as a glaring weakness. And again, he is a lot more skilled than anybody he's gone up against so far. But is that going to be able to sustain as he climbs the rankings of the flyweight division? Hard to say. But for now, I don't see any signs of weakness coming out of Andre Lima. So for now, he passes the eye test. All right, now up next, we got Beksat Almakhan. Now, this is one of the few fighters on this list that technically lost the fight, but still, I'm not going to judge them too harshly because they came in on short notice, especially against someone like Umar Nurmagomedov, who is arguably a top three bantamweight right now, if not top two. Beksat Almakhan, outside of his loss to Umar Nurmagomedov, he looks spectacular against Brad Katona. You know, he knocked out Brad Katona in the first minute of their fight. He hits hard. He finds his shots very well. Grappling, however, can be his weakness because Umar Nurmagomedov was able to control him. But first off, that's Umar Nurmagomedov. All right, just because you're getting taken down by Umar Nurmagomedov and all that doesn't mean that grappling's necessarily your weak point. And second off, he did take that fight on short notice, so maybe we could have seen Bexa Almakhan scramble a little bit better, do little minor adjustments that could have made a difference. I'm not exactly too sure. He is fighting Ilya Taporia's brother on the Qatar card. Uh, I think it's 2 weeks from now. So I am kind of curious to see where he stacks up. I think that will be a good test because Ilya Tapori's brother has a very similar style to his brother, and it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Beksat Almakhan can solve the boxing fundamentals of Alexandre Taporia. Well, either way, for now, I'm going to say that Beksat Almakhan passes the eye test. All right, now up next, we got Kevin Vallejos. All right off the bat, what strikes me as impressive is his excellent boxing, both offensively and defensively. He knows how to set his shots up. He can counter. He can roll with punches. His guard's pretty tight. He also has good scrambles and takedown defense. So I'm not too worried about that being exposed just yet. But my problem is he's a little bit small for featherweight, and he hasn't exactly fought anybody who can take advantage of that just yet. But I could see that happening in the future. And the other thing is he hasn't fought any good level opposition as of late, right? I know he beat Danny Silva. Danny Silva's all right, but I never thought that Danny Silva was like an elite level prospect. Sung Woo Choi, I love him, but yeah, his chin is absolutely cooked. And just because you knock out Sung Woo Choi, don't mean you're gonna go on a run and be like a top five featherweight automatically. But Kevin Vallejos, just off what I'm seeing, he's really good. So hopefully he can carry that momentum against Giga Chikadze, and hopefully he can be ranked. But at the same time, I am worried about him because Giga Chikadze is a lot better than any of the opponents Kevin Valios has fought so far. And Giga Chikadze, his kicking game is dangerous. All right, Giga Chikadze knows how to keep opponents at range, and it's interesting to see how Kevin Vallejos will do, considering that Kevin Vallejos is the much smaller opponent compared to Giga Chikadze. But for now, I'm going to say that Kevin Vallejos passes the eye test. All right, now up next we got Quillen Salkild. Now, honestly, I love Quillen Salkild's game in general. He knows how to keep people at range with his teeps and kicks. He knows how to wrestle when necessary. He does have solid power in his hands, even though I do think that's his weakest point. Overall, I think he has a very complete game of mixed martial arts. However, right, he has some good wins under his resume, but there's just not enough information about him. He's only had 3 fights in the UFC so far. He beat Nazar Hakprest, he beat Yanela Shmuz, and he beat Anshul Jubli. Right off the bat, Anshul Jubli, the great redeemer himself, that don't tell me much. Yanela Shmuz, alright, like, it showed that Quillen Salkhild can really wrestle against someone who likes to wrestle. But it's not like Yanela Shmuz was the best guy on the roster. And Nazareth Hakparas, he's a very good fighter. He was a fighter that was looked at as someone who's just outside of the lightweight rankings. But at the same time, that's just one style. All right, Quillen Salkhild fought a southpaw boxer who's very tight with his technique and stuff like that. And there's a lot of guys at lightweight with loads of different stylistic matchups. So I'm interested to see where Quillen Salkhild excels at and where Quillen Salkhild can be tested on. Again, we don't know for sure, but based off the eye test, he is good. There's nothing that's glaringly weak, but there's just too many questions considering he's in the lightweight division where there's just so many killers in that division. All right, now up next we got Kosuke Gun. All right, now many of you will call this blatant glazing, and I'm here to tell you you're right because he's got dominant grappling against solid level opposition. For example, he ragdolled Oban Elliott to a 30-26. He ragdolled Phil Rowe a couple of weeks ago by 30-26. Now, his striking, it's good. All right, I'm not gonna say he's like freaking JDM or anything like that, but it's good enough to get by. It's good enough to set up his takedowns. It's good enough to sting opponents when necessary. The thing that worries me about Kosa Kondo is he doesn't have the best finishing potential. Now, you don't necessarily need Cathcart levels of finishing potential, but at the same time, like it is kind of concerning though, considering he hasn't got a finish yet in the UFC. But fair enough, he's fighting good level opposition. I think he can get ranked. All right, my expectations for him are roughly around the top 12 to 10 range, and then we'll see from there. But for now, he passed the eye test. I think he's ranked ready, depending on the matchups. Give him one or two more fights, and we'll probably see him in the rankings, but you never know because he could find someone who can match his wrestling. And then on the feet, he could get exposed. But for now, I can't really see that. So he passes the eye test for now, at least. All right, now moving on, we got Marco Tulio. Easily, I say he has the cleanest striking in the middleweight division, or at least outside of the rankings. But he is fighting low-level middleweights, all right? Ihor Potieria, not very good. Krayshawn Gore, not very good. Now he is fighting Christian Leroy Duncan on this week's Apex card. And Christian Leroy Duncan's good. He's around the 25-ish range of the middleweight division. So that'll answer us some questions. And I could see Marco Tulio struggling a little bit more than when he fought Trayshawn Gore and what was it? Oh, Eor Potieria. But Marco Tulio, again, he's got very clean shot selection. He's basically the Mauricio Ruffi of the middleweight division. I really love his style, especially for someone as big as he is. So I'm gonna, for now, say that he passed the eye test. But I think the fight with Christian Leroy Duncan is gonna answer a lot of questions for us coming soon. All right, now up next we got Billy Elicana. Now I didn't really believe in Billy Elicana at first because he wasn't exactly this big prospect to be out on the lookout for. And he did lose to Bogdan Guskov, but then again, it was on short notice. But since he came in on short notice and lost to Bogdan Guskov, he's been doing nothing but winning fights. All right, he comfortably outstruck Ibo Aslan. Wasn't the best fight to watch, but still, he did outstrike Ibo Aslan pretty comfortably. He dominated Kevin Christian. I don't know if Kevin Christian's all that good, but still, just off the way Billy Elicana looked, it looked like he was like bound for the rankings. Now, I'm not too sure about his cardio, but then again, he came in on a few days' notice against Bogdan Gushkov, so I'm not gonna really hold that up against him. But I'm not sure where he stacks up right now because Bogdan Gushkov's a really good light heavyweight. But other than that, Billy Elicana's wins aren't the best. So I'm interested to see where Billy Elicana ends up in a couple of years from now. Maybe Billy Elicana get into the rankings. I'm not exactly too sure. Maybe he can even get into a title elimination bout. It's hard to say, but based off the eye test, at least against his wins, Billy Elicana looks like a legitimate prospect to be out on the lookout for. All right, now, last but not least, we've got Mario Pinto. He shows us a very well-rounded game at heavyweight, which you typically don't see. And he's got high fight IQ. He has a good ability to adjust to the fighters that he's fighting. Austin Lane, for example, Mario Pinto was very good at baiting Austin Lane to throw some punches before finding the counter to knock him out. Against Janata Denise, he was able to set up his takedowns very well to just dominate Janata Denise in the grappling over the course of 2 rounds. And he is a again, very calculated guy. He's very experienced with going to later rounds. Problem I see right now is that he's fighting nothing but absolute blobs and schmucks. All right, that's not his fault because that's what most heavyweights are. But that don't tell me whether or not Mario Pinto can potentially become a top 5 guy because there's been a lot of guys who show a lot of promise that get fraud checked randomly in the heavyweight division. So hopefully Mario Pinto, he continues to look impressive as he's done right now. For now, he's passed the eye test. But I do want to see Mario Pinto get a decent jump up in competition so we can actually gauge whether or not Mario Pinto can bring some life into the heavyweight division. Alright, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure to like and subscribe so we can get this channel monetized. Otherwise, though, leave a comment down below who you guys think are good, but you're not exactly sure yet. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.